Alright, I'm replacing my fuel injectors. This is a 2011 Chevy Malibu with a 2.4 liter ecotec. First step is to relieve the fuel pressure, so we're going to open up the trunk and locate the fuel pump fuel. That's going to be on this panel right here. Down there, that blue one, that's number 25. So if you look at number 25, if I get that glare out of the way, the fuel pump right down there. You know, take that out, and then you're going to open up the gas lid, the gas cap. And then try to start the engine. Ideally, if it's been sitting for a minute, it won't start at all. But if you have had it running, it'll probably run for a few seconds and then stall. Alright, now we're going to take off the cover for the engine using an 8mm bit and an extender to get under here in order to get to the part that's clamping on top of the throttle body. You can kind of make it out back there. There we go. I'm just going to go ahead and loosen that up too. Okay, now we just need to take everything off that's around the fuel rail. Before we do that, make sure we remove the negative terminal of our battery so that nothing electrical is powered and there's no chance for sparks because, you know, gas is flammable. I'm just gonna use a flathead and kind of pry these off. And then eventually, when we have everything cleared off, we're gonna take off this bolt and this bolt right here. And then make sure you also disconnect all of your fuel injector wires. There's gonna be 4 of them. All right, got these guys loose, got that loose up there. All right, got those 2 bolts removed, and now we're ready to just pull out the fuel rail. Okay, next we need to take out these little metal brackets that go along the edges of these fuel injectors. Those are gonna hold that in places up against the rail. You're just gonna use some needle nose pliers in order to get that off. So we're going to kind of yoink it up from there and then move to the other side and do the same thing a little bit. Kind of work it on either side. Until eventually we can get in there a little better. Now is the messy part where we're actually going to remove the fuel injector from the rail, and that's going to have some fuel come out. So just make sure you have a rag beneath you when you do that. Should be able to just pull it right out. It's in there a bit good though. Anyways, once you get to this point, you're just gonna wanna go ahead and pull off all of the other fuel injectors and drain out the gas from the line. It is still got plenty of fluid in there. So we got all the fuel injectors out, and keep note, some of them come with the O-rings out. Some of them will actually get stuck in the fuel rail. So if that happens, you gotta fish those O-rings out. See, those last 2 the O-rings came out when I pulled out the injectors, and that's why those are on there still. But the first 2, the O-rings got stuck in there, so we're gonna have to go fish those out really quick with some pliers or something. Just like that. Right, now that we got the O-rings out, the fuel rail is completely clean and it's ready for the new injectors, but we do need to take these things off, these little caps, and we're going to reuse those again because this is all that we have for the new kits. I mean, this is the old one, but this is, you know what I mean. Okay, yeah, these things love to just get stuck. What the fuck? Focus, dog. There we go. These things just love to get stuck, so here's my little trick to get them out. I just got a little adjustable wrench. We're gonna hang it from here and then hold on to it from up here and then pull on the fuel injector from down there until it comes out. There we go. Now, of course, just make sure all of the bottom O-rings, those little green parts, came off with the fuel injectors too and didn't get stuck on the inside of this. Should look nice and good like that. We're gonna clean these up too, because that is a lot of buildup on there I don't like. All right, and to clear this crap off, I'm just gonna use a little brake cleaner and a rag, and then I'm just gonna scrape it off. Wish me luck. I'm gonna go ahead and inspect the new fuel injectors before you actually put them in, because you gotta make sure that they are gonna work. And when you look at that, that's not that good. So here's the old one. Here's one of the old ones at least. Those plugs are supposed to line up and be closer to the bottom than they are to the top. And this is just one of the new fuel injectors. We don't like that too much. We're gonna see if we can just kind of rearrange that with a pin and get it to connect. But if that doesn't actually plug in, that's gonna be huge and it's gonna lead to a misfire. And there we go. Just kind of squeeze it with little pliers, just very gently, not to bend it and to break it, but to just put it back into place. And then we should be good. Go ahead and put these back into these. Make sure the green part goes into the actual connector bits. Hey, you gotta get in there, brother. Just like that. And then we'll be able to put those back onto the fuel rail. Just pushing it in isn't doing too much, so we're gonna squeeze it and then turn it. And then there we go. That should be good. Pretty much in there. Maybe a couple more squeezes. That should be good. Nice and in there. Okay, now they're all ready. They got their things in them. And then we're gonna take the shits and then put them back into the things. Yeah. And make sure that they're kind of facing the right direction, because these plugs do have to kind of face outwards when you put the fuel rail back on. Put it on like that, and then make sure that these plugs are facing outwards like that when they get back on there. So we'll come over here and then kind of face it down like that, no problem. And squeeze them on in there, and then we're gonna put the rings back on too, or these little brackets back onto there. So I'll get back to you when that's done. All right, so these brackets do have to kind of go in those little grooves too, so you might have to pull it out a little bit. There they are. There's those little two grooves. And we're gonna grab the bracket, and then it's just gonna slide back into there once you can pull the grooves out. It's kind of a two-handed job, so I'll get back to you when they're all done. We got that one in, no problem. And then just do that with all four, and then we can put the fuel rail back in. All right, with all the brackets back on, we can put the fuel rail back into its spot. So let me move all the things out the way and get back to you. Okay, with the fuel rail back in place, we're gonna wanna put those bolts back in, and then we're gonna wanna make sure we wire everything back here. Put those back in, plug the damn fuel injectors in, of course, or else your engine's not gonna start. All right, and when screwing in your bolts too, make sure you're not over tightening them. I think almost everything over here calls for about 89 inch-pounds. That's inch-pounds, not feet-pounds. So if you don't got a small enough torque wrench, then just give it a small hand tightening and a barely tweak a little past that. Do not over tighten it, or else you're gonna have a bad day. That would really suck.